Dear student, due to coronavirus, school started online classes for your study. So you can subscribe Golden Flower Palia YouTube channel, like and press the bell icon.
Hello students, today we are going to start the next topic of Gauss theorem. We are studying electrostatics, and in electrostatic the second chapter we are studying, that is Gauss theorem. Okay, so in Gauss theorem we have studied about electric flux, we have studied about area vector, and one of the application we have solved of the Gauss theorem, proof of the Gauss theorem we have done. And due to the line charge, electric field we have calculated using the Gauss theorem. So today the next topic we are going to study, that is the application of the Gauss theorem. And in this topic we will take another kind of charge distribution. And due to this charge distribution we will try to find out the electric field using the Gauss theorem. I told you earlier in the last video that charge distribution can be done in different ways. Like if you are giving a charge to a wire, charge will distribute along the length of that wire. If you are going to give the charge to a plain sheet, okay, then the charge will be distribute in the area of that sheet. And instead of a sheet, if we are taking a three-dimensional body and giving the charge to a three-dimensional body, then charge will distribute in a whole of that, the volume of that three-dimensional body. So there we have a different kind of charge distribution, and for every charge distribution we are going to calculate electric field intensity at any point which is lying in the space near that body, and we will use to find out the electric field that Gauss theorem that we have studied in this chapter. Okay, so without wasting our time, let's start the topic for today. And the topic it is, we are going to find out the electric field intensity due to infinite sheet of charge. Okay, so now we have a plain sheet of charge. We are going to give the charge to a plain sheet. So when we are providing the charge to a plain sheet, that charge is going to be distributed in the area, in the surface area of that sheet. So we wish to calculate the electric field due to this plain sheet. So here we have the another application of the Gauss theorem. So we are studying this applications of Gauss theorem, and this is the second application we are going to study, that electric field intensity due to an infinite plain sheet of charge. Okay, so now we have another distribution of charge, that is plain sheet of charge. I am going to make a figure over there. This is infinite sheet, so I am making it a little zigzag. It's showing that it is infinite extension of that sheet, and we have given the positive charge to this sheet. Okay, we have given the positive charge to the sheet. This is the positive charge given to the sheet, and total charge that we have given to that sheet is Q. How much charge we have given to the sheet? That is Q charge we have provided to the sheet, Q charge. Okay, and due to this plain sheet we want to calculate electric field intensity at point P. Okay, and we know that if we are providing the charge, positive charge to a plain sheet, that electric field lines are going like away from that sheet, perpendicular to this sheet. They are going to emerge, they are going to originate from this sheet like this. Okay, they will be perpendicular to the sheet and they are going away from the sheet. Okay, similarly to the another side, if we see to the other side, this is the front side which is toward the P. We can see I have made the sheet like that. This portion that you can see, it is toward the point P. Okay, so from this side, the electric lines which are emerging, which are originating, they are passing perpendicular from the sheet and they are going through this away from this point P. Okay, if to the other side, if we see of the sheet, similarly the positive charge there will be also, and there also the electric field lines will emerge, but they are not going to this side, they are going to another side. Okay, back side, opposite side, and perpendicular to the sheet they will originate and they are also going away. Okay, so now we have to think what kind of Gaussian surface we must take. Okay, that's a question we have now. So I'll take one more point, point P dash, which is at an equal distance apart from the sheet as the point P from the sheet. Okay, point P, it is suppose at r distance apart from the sheet, then point P dash will also be at r distance apart from the sheet, and both the points are at 2r distance apart from each other. Okay, so we now have to take a kind of Gaussian surface which encloses the charge, because to use the Gauss theorem we must have a Gaussian surface, because when we are applying the Gauss theorem is stating that the flux passing through a closed surface is 1 upon epsilon naught times the charge enclosed by the surface. Okay, so we must have a closed surface which is enclosing some kind of charge. Okay, so now we have I'm considering a kind of cylindrical Gaussian surface, okay, which can pass from both the point P and P dash. Okay, having area of cross section capital A. Okay, I'll make little big to this sheet. Okay, so it look good. Okay, so this is a Gaussian surface and from here it is emerging. Okay, area of cross section of point P, that is A, and this is the area of cross section is A. Okay, so this is to this side and this part to another side at point P dash. Okay, so area of cross section of this portion, it is capital A, and we have given the charge Q to this sheet, and charge is going to distribute in the surface of this sheet. Okay, so we must have another kind of charge density that we call surface charge density. Here I'm going to introduce a term, surface charge density. Surface charge density, which we denote by sigma, and it is charge per unit area. Okay, so it is denoted by sigma is equal to Q by A, or we can say that if the charge enclosed by this cylinder is small q, if we consider, because Q, capital Q charge we have given to this sheet, the charge is going to be distributed among whole of this sheet. So sigma is if in this portion the charge is small q, and then small q will have equal to sigma A. So how much charge is enclosed by this cylinder, that is q, small q, and that is equal to sigma A. where sigma is the surface charge density, charge per unit area of the sheet. Okay, if whole sheet having the area of small a, if we consider, and the total charge given to that one, it is capital Q. So Q upon small a will be the surface charge density, and it will be uniform in whole of the sheet. Okay, whatever area we take, whatever charge we take of that portion, of any portion, for any portion of the sheet, the charge is going to be distributed uniformly. Okay, so I have taken a charge in this portion, it is a small q, and surface charge density, charge per unit area, it is sigma. So sigma, and area of this portion, it is capital A, so it is going to be sigma A. Okay, so now to find out the electric field intensity, we must consider one another point on the curved surface. Here I am going to introduce a capital, suppose you take n is a point on the curved surface area. Okay, on the curved surface of this cylinder, and we wanted to just see that is electric flux passing from the curved surface, or it is passing from cross section only. Okay, because for applying the Gauss theorem, we must have a keen concept about, we must have to understand that from where the electric flux is going to be passed through. Okay, so when we were calculating the electric field intensity due to line charge, there I have made 3 points. One was at the upper cross section, one was at the lower cross section, and 1 point it was on the curved surface. So we wanted to see there how much electric flux is passing from which place. Okay, so there also we have to apply the same. We have 2 cross section and 1 curved surface area. So we have to know that is electric flux passing from this curved surface or not. So see that electric lines will be in this way, okay, parallel to the curved surface, and area of cross section of this portion dA, if we take, they are at 90 degree apart. So 90 degree angle, okay, they are inclined at 90 degree. So when they are inclined at 90 degree, the dot product of both of them, there will be 0, because electric flux is equal to E dot dA, E dA cos 90, and cos 90's value is 0. That means curved surface, through the curved surface, no electric flux is passing. Okay, only from point P, that means this cross section and this cross section, they only contribute to the electric flux to come out from this cylindrical portion, also cylindrical Gaussian surface. Okay, so let's start with the derivation. Okay, we have sigma, that is the surface charge density, the charge enclosed by this cylinder, it is sigma A, where sigma is surface charge density, and A, it is area of cross section of this portion. So I'm going to apply how much flux is passing from this cylindrical portion, cylindrical Gaussian surface. Here I am writing. So here what will be, suppose area it is A vector and electric field it is E vector, both will be on the same direction. Here also the area vector is perpendicular always to the surface we are talking about, and electric field is also passing parallel to each other. So area vector and electric field both have an angle of theta, that is equal to 0 degree. So how much electric flux is passing from this cylinder? One from this portion, another from this portion, from P and P dash, both side. Okay, so here flux is passing from P and flux is passing from P dash. So what is electric flux equation? It is E dot dA, but area we have considered only A. So here I am not going to put integration sign, because we have not to integrate for this portion. If we could take that small area, then we have to only integrate, but because we are taking whole of area of cross section, so we have not to integrate this equation now. So E dot A at P plus E dot A at P dash. Okay, so it is EA cos 0 and it is EA cos 0 and it is EA plus EA, it is 2EA. Okay, so phi is equal to 2EA. Clear? So this we got from the this Gaussian surface. Now we don't need this figure. I'm going to remove it. Okay. For finding the electric field, we have to use the Gauss theorem. So using Gauss theorem, okay, using Gauss theorem, what was electric flux passing from a closed surface? That is Q by epsilon naught. That is equation number 2. So now we have two equations for flux. One is 2EA, another is Q by epsilon naught. Both must be same to each other, and we are going to compare both of them. Comparing equation 1 and 2. Comparing equation 1 and 2. So it will be 2EA is equal to Q by epsilon naught. So E will be equal to Q by 2A epsilon naught. And just now we have studied that Q by A is sigma, it is 2 epsilon naught. So E will be equal to sigma upon 2 epsilon naught. Okay, this is Q by A, charge upon area, that is sigma, that is surface charge density. So this is the final electric field we have calculated due to the infinite plane sheet of charge. One thing you can see from the expression that we just obtained for the electric field due to plane sheet of charge, I have been kept the point P at r distance apart from that sheet, and P dash was also at the r distance apart. So is r affecting the distance of point affecting the electric field? Here in this expression we cannot see r anywhere. Okay, only there it is surface charge density and there it is permittivity of free space. So r it is not included in the expression of electric field. That means electric field intensity theoretically, I am talking about theory part only, it is not practically true. Okay, so if we see that there it is no r in the expression, that means distance of point, it is not affecting the electric field intensity. So everywhere, wherever you keep this point and from the plane sheet of charge, okay, infinite plane sheet of charge, electric field will be same. Okay, so electric field intensity due to plane sheet of charge does not depend upon the distance of point. So here I am writing electric field due to plane sheet of charge does not depend upon distance of point. Distance of point, as we can see from the expression. So this was the application of Gauss theorem due to plane sheet of charge if we are going to distribute the charge in the area of any object. Okay, so in this way we are calculating, and keep remember always you need a Gaussian surface always to apply the Gauss theorem. So what kind of Gaussian surface you are going to draw for the particular charge distribution, that you have to keep remember for this kind of equations and expression that we are going to derive. So now I have to use this application that we have driven just now for the different cases. So here we have two parallel sheets of charge. Parallel sheets of charge. Okay, we have two parallel sheets of charge, and due to these sheets of charge, combination of these two sheets, we need to calculate electric field at different point. Look, when charge density is of same sign, that means both the sheets are carrying positive charge or both the sheets are carrying negative charge. Okay, so we have two sheets, sheet number 1 and sheet number 2. There it is sigma 1 and there it is sigma 2. Both are having positive charge on each other. Okay, so now both the sheets are having positive charge, and we wanted to calculate electric field intensity at point P and point Q and point R. Okay, so they are different points and placing at different positions. That point P is extreme left hand side point, Q it is lying in the middle of the sheets, and R it is on the extreme right hand side. Okay, so now we have 3 points at which we have to calculate electric field intensity due to these two plane sheet of charge having either positive or negative charge density. Okay, so here I have denoted plus sigma 1 and plus sigma 2. Both are not having the same charge density. Okay, but they are like. So now at point P, due to positive charge, electric field intensity is always away. Okay, so this thing we have to keep remember. Due to first sheet of charge, electric field E1 will be away from the sheet, and for 2 also it will be away from the sheet. Okay, and for Q, electric field intensity due to sheet 1 it will be away, and due to sheet 2 it will be away, because from the positive charge, when I taught you electric field lines, I told you it is very important topic, because we are going to visualize electric field. We are going to draw a physical significance, a physical appearance of electric field. Okay, we are going to provide a realization to the electric field. So what realization was done? I told you for the positive charge, electric field lines are always starting from the positive charge and they are going to terminate at the infinity. And for the negative charge, they are starting from infinity and going to terminate at the negative charge. And they always originate perpendicularly, they always terminate perpendicularly. They are not going to cross each other. So these property you have to keep in mind when you are drawing any kind of figure for electric field intensity. Okay, so here also we have to see that for sheet 1 and for sheet 2, there it is a positive charge on both of them. And when we are going to realize the electric field due to 1 and 2, we need to keep remember it is positive, and electric field line will originate perpendicularly and will go to the infinity. Okay, so it is perpendicular to the sheet and going to infinity, away from the sheet. So for sheet 1 at point Q, it is going away, and for sheet 2 it is going away to this side. Okay, and for the R, if we see for the sheet 1 it is going away even, and for 2 also it is going away for sheet 2. Okay, so now we have the final direction of electric field intensity at point P and point Q, point R due to these two sheets. Okay, and we know that due to the plane sheet of charge, electric field intensity is sigma upon 2 epsilon naught. We have just driven that formula. Okay, So if we see at point P, both the electric field intensity are in the same direction. So we are going to add the electric field. The net electric field at point P will be the sum of these two electric field intensity. At point Q, they are opposite to each other. That means we are going to subtract here. At point R, they are at the same side. Then we are going to add both of them. Okay. So at point P and point R, outside, the points lying outside of the sheets. Okay. At point P or R, net electric field E will be equal to E1 plus E2. What was E? At this is sigma 1 upon 2 epsilon naught, and E2 it is sigma 2 upon 2 epsilon naught. So 1 upon 2 epsilon naught we are going to take as a common. It is going to be sigma 1 plus sigma 2. Okay, so this is the final electric field due to plane sheet of charge, combination of two plane sheets of charge, and we are finding the electric field at the extreme left and extreme right outside of the sheets, and one point there it is lying between the two sheets. And for point Q we are going to calculate now. At point Q, the net electric field E will be equal to E1 minus E2. Okay, it will be equal to the difference of two electric field. It is sigma 1 upon 2 epsilon naught minus sigma 2 upon 2 epsilon naught. So 1 upon 2 epsilon naught you take as a common, that will be left sigma 1 minus sigma 2. Okay, so this is the final derivation we have for the combination of two sheets, two parallel sheet of charge. Keep remember, because we are going to use this application in capacitor. Okay, when we are going to make the parallel plate capacitor, it's very important topic. And because it is in the two chapters, one is in the Gauss theorem, another it is in the capacitor. So there it is very important. Okay, so keep remember this derivation. And the same you have to solve for when the charge density are opposite to each other, like it is having the positive charge.
Do self study at home and stay home, save lives.